The question of the day becomes, can they control people around you to force them to harass you? We're going to answer that question in this video right here, right now. First of all, most people have no idea how concise and in-depth artificial intelligence truly is. The type of technological fake-outs and spoofed up street theater can lead one to believe that there's angels and demons in possession and spirits and entities and ghosts involved. However the case may be, those things do exist, but these are people. These are people with advanced tech toys, and to a certain extent, it becomes no longer human. That it is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is running neural network, psyop, simulated war games, psychological war games, deduced down to algorithms with the highest topologies and mapping of cognitive brain analysis, brain to interface, other things such as neuro-linguistic programming and neural 3D brain mapping. If you do a little bit of research into this, you will understand that this is exactly where it's going. Skynet, global grid, gig, global information grid, brain-link warfighters in this new world war. A new battlefront, new weapons, a new way to play the game. Electromagnetic or electromagnetism, which is what I guess is Tempest or Echelon, could be both of them. They study and track the electromagnetism of human beings coming from or emanating from their brain activity. Your smart meters, the smart grid, your smartphone is connected to your brain, and artificial intelligence is scanning your brain. If you're a targeted individual, it's worse. They already have your brain mapped out. Have you had a chance to really analyze these so-called synchronicities? The ones that I've experienced and seen, no person could have organized. Give you an example. Woman walking down the street. I'm looking out the window. I take notice of her coat, her hair, the shape of her head, her haircut, everything, her clothes. Seconds later, there comes another woman dressed identical and looking identical. You're gonna tell me that some human being arranged that? So, if artificial intelligence can use predictive programming in synthetic telepathy and systematized your environment, what makes you think it can't control people in your environment? The brain has no firewall. Regardless of what anyone's ego has to say about it, let me tell you, it's not only you that's been messed with. And I'm talking about neurologically. Your police departments have been messed with. Your intelligence agencies, CSIS, the FBI, CIA, all the alphabet soups have been messed with and severely compromised, cognitively, neurologically, physiologically. Your neighbors have been severely fucked with in the head, and that is why they act the way they act. And it's not that people are stalking you, it's that these people are everywhere. What type of people am I talking about? Brain-linked people who have been infected with nanobots or through chemtrails or through other facets, and they can be activated through electromagnetic impulse to be annoyed with you and to attack you or to even stalk you. Instead of pushing down a general patch for an individual, they can actually push this down to a whole group of people. Now you feel you're being gang-stalked, but yet you're not seeing the technological illusion, fake out, psyop behind the scene. Is that really stalking? Or is that actually electromagnetic hijacking? Or what you would call hacking in brain hacking, neural hacking, hacking into people's immune system. Of course, they're not going to tell us these things because all of these weapons are classified, but yet they have been tested on in the Iraqi war. Voice of God weapons, V2K, under the Project Phoenix, they brought all these programs like COINTELPRO back, but they added fusion centers, facial recognition. What did they plug it up to? They plugged it up to the artificial intelligence. It's the AI. Now, let me give you guys another situation that happened to me that made me realize this is artificially intelligent. These products, and I'll explain this in a minute, okay, can be produced to you with ultra pinpoint accuracy at the speed of your thought. Think about that. Let me give you an example. One day, the city was closed off because there was a big G20 summit when it was in Hamburg. I rode my bike to avoid all the traffic to my apartment to pick my clothes up, and I wanted to come back to stay at my girlfriend's house. During my return, I had a thought to bring my basketball, and in that moment, at the speed of my thought about the basketball, a kid walks at a 45-degree angle at me, staring at me, dark circles under his eyes, staring at me, and he was holding a basketball. Now, how do you know if people are infected with nanobots or infected with AI and they're actually brain linked? Well, they have big dark circles under their eyes and they stare at you like a way that's almost like robotic or demonic, in a way that's like they're not home. They might stick out their tongue at you. Now, I'm not talking about joking or anything. There's other ways that you can tell. I'm talking about people doing things to you and you have formally no communication or contact with them. You never formally had a conversation with them, and they just come around you doing things. More than likely, they're linked to the gig. So the question becomes, can they control people around you and use them to harass you? The answer is yes, because the brain has no firewall. And your perps have been messed with and compromised, and if they don't think that they haven't, they wouldn't even be out doing what they're doing. Who is going to drive around missing one hubcap? Who's going to drive around missing one headlight? Who's going to drive around missing one brake light? Who's going to walk around in all red? Who's going to do these things? How many people do you see doing these things on an everyday basis? So when you see perps doing all types of neurolinguistic programming to you, just knowing that it's been done worse to them and they sold out. Because this is all about synthetic illnesses like schizophrenia, synthetically, which doesn't even exist to begin with. They've taken an illness that's not even an illness and you cannot base any type of factual studies on any theories. Chemical imbalance, there's no factual proof to support that causes anything of such. And if that is the case, how come we can see hereditary brain diseases? How come we can see the progression of diseases in the brain, such as Alzheimer's, dementia, or tumors or lesions on the brain? If a person died, what would schizophrenia look like if you did an MRI CAT scan on their brain? And on that note, I'm going to end my video because I'm letting you guys know right now that through scalar waves and through advanced technologies and through low or LRAD or low intensity frequencies, they can manipulate people's electromagnetic, neurological, they can do this to anyone. So anyone that tells you they're not under mind control, more than likely they already are, right? This is stealth technology. It will control the world eventually in the coming beast system. I'm out, y'all.